Hi everyone and welcome to this tutorial showing you how to use MailChimp. MailChimp is a free online email creating tool and all Agapé staff in the UK are going to be using this to send newsletters to supporters. So I'm going to show you how to create an account, how to create a list and import your contacts from MPDX. We'll also look at how to design your email and how to send it, and then look at reports so you can see who's opened your email and what they've clicked on and that kind of thing. And finally, I'll also show you how to set up an email sign-up form so that people can sign up to get your newsletter either from a website or from a link or from an email footer and that kind of thing. So hopefully you'll find it helpful and easy to follow, and you'll be up and running by the end of the tutorial. So first of all, let's look at creating an account. Well, the first thing you need to do is go to the website. So it's MailChimp.com. If you just Google for MailChimp, you'll find it easily. And you just click sign up for free to set up an account. First of all, you need to put your email in. So I'm going to put newcastle@agapé.org.uk. You need to come up with a username. So I'll put Newcastle Agapé. And you need to think of a password. It needs to be reasonably secure, and it'll prompt you if you haven't thought of a secure enough password. So once you've met all the password criteria, if you click Get Started, it will start to set up your account. And what they'll do is they'll send a message to your email address. You need to open that and click it to activate your account. So I'm going to go over to my email now, and there it is. There's the email that's come in. So if I click Activate Account, that'll take me back to the MailChimp website, and hopefully I'll be able to finish the account setup. You've got to convince them that you're not a robot, so click that you're not a robot. And then you just need to put in some information, so enter your name and continue. Tell us about your business, so put Agapé UK in there. And the website, you could do the agapé.org.uk website. Okay, the address that you need to enter is the address of Agapé UK. So if you go on the website, it's actually on the bottom of the website. That's the easiest way to get it. So it's here, 167 Newhall Street. So I'm just going to copy and paste that just to make it easy. And that's obviously Birmingham, and that's the postcode. So Birmingham, and the postcode there. And the country is obviously the United Kingdom. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we continue there. You only have to do all this once. Does your business sell anything online? Click no for that, because you don't want to incorporate a shop thing. You can add social sharing. We'll just miss that out for now. If you want to subscribe to any of MailChimp's newsletters, you can. If you want to get tips about how to use it better, I'm not going to bother with that. Once you've got your MailChimp account, you can then log in and start to build your list of people that you're going to send your emails to. So first of all, log in using the details that you've just set your account up with. Okay, so that's fine, now I'm logged in. So now if you go to the lists button at the top there, you'll see that it's actually set up a list, and there's only one subscriber on it, which I'm assuming is going to be me. So if I click on the list, I can see, yeah, I'm the only person subscribed to this list. So this list is going to be the list of your supporters who have agreed to get your newsletter. So first of all, there's a couple of housekeeping things you might need to do to the list. First of all, go to Settings and List Name and Defaults. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this list something a bit more memorable. So I'm going to call it Newsletter List. Okay, so I just know what the list is. Also, if you go further down this screen, you can see that there's a default from name, and at the moment it's just my first name. I'm going to put my surname on as well, just so that they know exactly who it's from. So that's probably all I need to do in that section. I'm going to save list and campaign defaults. Great. The next thing I'm going to do is go back to settings, and if you see where it says required email footer content, I'm going to click that. This is a bit of text that appears at the bottom of the email, and it tells people why they're getting this email. Now this is really important because it helps people to understand that this isn't spam and it's actually something they've agreed to get. There's some default text in there at the moment, but I'm going to change that to be something a bit more Agapé applicable. Once we have formulated our MPD policy, then this text may change, but we'll let you know what you need to say to supporters. For the moment, I'm using this text here, so I'm just going to paste it in. And I'll tell you what it says. It says, I'm sending this email because you opted in to hearing about my work with Agapé in Newcastle. I hope you find it informative and a useful aid in your prayers. If you don't want to receive emails anymore, just click unsubscribe below. You can read Agapé's privacy statement here, agape.org.uk/privacy. Thanks. So something like that will suffice for the moment, but we will give you the exact wording that you need to use. So again, if we go down to the bottom and save that, that's fine. Okay, so if I go back to lists, the next thing I need to do is to get more people onto this list. The way the sync between MPDX and MailChimp works is that MPDX pushes information to MailChimp, but MailChimp doesn't push information back to MPDX. So you need to use MPDX as your master list. So if I was just to go and add a load of people to this list here in MailChimp, the problem is it wouldn't add the details of those people to MPDX. So what we're going to do now is go over to MPDX and put all the information in there. So here's one I prepared earlier. I've just made up, for data protection purposes, I've made up people to put in here. Well, they're not made up people, but they're certainly not on my support team, mainly by virtue of the fact that they're all dead. So I'm going to use these 6 people as an example, but what you'll have is real people who are on your support list. And you need to make sure that everybody who you've got on your list, you need to make sure that you've got permission from them to be mailed. So if you go into, let's go into C.S. Lewis for instance, and you'll see here there's a newsletter preference. So I've tagged him as wanting my email, and there are various different things you can choose: physical, email, both, or none. He just wants my email newsletter, so that's fine. Again, I'm just going to stress that you need to make sure you've got people's explicit permission to be able to send them your email newsletters. So that can be written permission, it can be verbal permission, but you need to have their permission and also have a note that you've got their permission. And you can make that note as a completed task in MPDX. Okay, so back to my list of people who are going to get the newsletter. So assuming that I've gone through MPDX and I've cleaned up the data, so I've marked everybody that gets my email newsletter. So now I want to export that information to MailChimp. So what you need to do is to set up a sync between MPDX and MailChimp. And the way you do that is go to Settings, and you go to Connect Services, and you go to MailChimp, and you do Connect to MailChimp. Now it's going to ask you to log in. Yeah, log into your MailChimp account. So you can log into the one you've just set up. Log in. Great. And then it's saying, please choose a list to sync with MailChimp. Now, it's not showing any lists at the moment. This is a common issue. If you just refresh your screen, it should work. So go up and refresh your browser. Yeah, and now it's giving me options, and newsletter list should be there. So if I click newsletter list, then it will sync with that list that we've just created in MailChimp. You can tick this box as well that says automatically log sent MailChimp campaigns in contact task history. This means that every time you send an email newsletter out from MailChimp, it will automatically log it against everybody who received it in MPDX. So that's quite useful. I would tick that and then click save. And it's just telling me that MailChimp sync has been started and this process may take up to 4 hours to complete. So I'll OK that, and then you've just got to wait. Once the sync is complete, your contacts from MPDX will now appear in the MailChimp list. So if I go to newsletter list now, I can see that I've got 7 subscribers. And if I click on that list, it should hopefully have brought through the people. Yeah, here we go. So there's C.S. Lewis, John Wesley, Helen Roosevelt, Florence Nightingale, Martin Luther and Lottie Moon. So they're all people that were subscribed to my newsletter in MPDX, and the sync has now pushed their details to MailChimp, so that's fantastic. Obviously, when you're doing it to start with, there'll be a whole lot of people that come across straight away. In future, it'll just be 1s and 2s, because presumably every now and again new people will subscribe to your list. So if you want to add people manually, what you have to do is add them in MPDX, not in MailChimp. That's really important. So let's say that Billy Graham decided to sign up to my list. So if I go over to MPDX, I need to add him as a new contact in MPDX. So I just click on the add button there, add contact, Graham, Billy, save. And then he's told me explicitly that he would like to get my newsletter, so I change it to email newsletter. And I need to put his email address in, so I go to edit here, add an email address, Billy Graham, just put some numbers to make sure I don't accidentally create a real address, hotmail.com, there we go, save that, change is saved successfully, so he would now appear in my list of contacts who get my newsletter, hopefully. Yeah, so you see now there are 7 rather than 6, because Billy Graham is a new person. And if I want to add him to MailChimp, just go to settings, the connect services thing, MailChimp, and I can sync now, and it will push Billy Graham's details through to MailChimp as well. So if I click OK there, when the sync's complete, I'll go back to MailChimp, and Billy Graham's details will now be there as well. Go back to MailChimp, look at my list, there are now 8 people, and if I click in there, I can see that Billy Graham is the latest addition. So that's how you get new people into MailChimp. You have to do it via MPDX. So once you've got your list, the next thing you want to do is actually make an email to send to people. So if you click on campaigns, that's what the email's called, and at the moment it's showing that you've got no campaigns. So the first thing you want to do is create a new campaign. So if you click on that button there, it's going to ask you what you want to create, and just pick create an email from the bottom there. Give it a name. So this is just a name for your reference, so I tend to just call it Agapé newsletter and then the number. So this would be Agapé newsletter number 1, and then click begin. And it's quite intuitive process, it tends to guide you through, so it's quite user friendly. First of all, you need to decide who you're sending it to, so you put add recipients, and this will enable you to choose a list, and it's obviously going to be your newsletter list that you've already set up. So if you click the drop down there, click newsletter list, and that's fine, it's all going to go to those people. So click save. From, who is sending this campaign, so if you click add from, you can see that it's from me, Anne Witten, and it's from this Newcastle address. That's fine, so just click save. Then you get to choose a subject for your email, so I might call it, I don't know, Easter news from Newcastle or something. I'll probably think of something more fun than that, and put in some preview text that appears in the inbox just after the subject line. So it's just a little introduction to what the email's about. So it might be, you know, exciting events and a new resource or something. This is just making this up, but click done for that. And then this is the fun part, this is when you get to actually design the content for your email. So if you click design email, so there are lots of different templates that MailChimp has that you can choose from. I would tend to choose something quite basic really, but it's up to you. You can pick the sort of template you want to use. I'm just going to show you how to use a very basic template. So I'm going to click the 1-column template. So you see on the left hand side, this is what your email is going to look like. And on the right hand side side is all the different design elements that you can put into the email. And it's got some helpful text here telling you about how you can design your email. So it's just now drag and drop, really, decide what you want to put in your email. So this would probably be, at the top would be your kind of top news story. So it might be Passover meal for students or something. I mean, yeah, totally just making this up. You can delete all this default text. We had a brilliant time with 40 students coming to our Passover meal. Okay, blah blah blah. You just drop your news in here, and when you finish, click save and close. Obviously, there's lots. This is a very short email if that's all you're going to put. So you want to add new things in as you go along. So you might want to have a picture of that. So if you click image or image card, an image is basically just a picture by itself. An image card, it's got a little border around it, and you can put a caption underneath, or again you can do image and caption here. I'm going to put an image card in underneath, and when you want to add the image, you just click browse, and you can upload images from your computer, or you can browse for images that you've already uploaded. But as this is a new account, there's nothing on there at the moment. So if you click upload, I've just put an image on the desktop. This is actually a picture of me, Jack and Miriam after one of our worship times, so it's nothing to do with Passover, but never mind. And then you put your caption here, so Jack and Miriam, blah blah blah. And just click close, and that's how you add a picture in. Very easy. It's important to say that you don't want pictures to be too big, so the ideal size for a picture is 600 pixels width, so it doesn't sort of jam when it gets to people's inboxes. You can also change the design of this bit at the bottom here, so you can change the colour and the whether the text is to the side or not, the alignment. So, and you can change fonts and things. So I might want the background to be slightly lighter. So I might want to pick, for instance, the Agapé light grey, which is DDD, I happen to know. Obviously the text now isn't showing up, so I might want to change that to black, which is all the zeros, I think. Yeah, there we go. And I might decide I want it over to the left rather than in the centre, so I just change the alignment. It goes over to the left there. But you can mess around with that and do different things as you wish. Save and close. If you want to put more text in, you just grab a text box, drop it in, and there you go. Just write what you want in there. Save and close. There's all sorts of different things that you can drop in. You can even use videos. So I might have a video on YouTube that I want people to be able to watch, and it's really, really easy because all you do is take the URL, the web link from YouTube, and drop it in here. So I've got one that I prepared earlier. We've got a video, a We Are Women promotional video that we made for the We Are Women campaign. So I can just click share, get the link, copy the link, and I can just plop that link back in here, paste it in, save and close, and there we are. Just going to stop that playing. And there we are, the video is now in my newsletter. So when people get this newsletter in their inbox, all they do is click that and the video will play. Other things that you can put in to make it look nice, there's a dividing line. You can plot that in, and that just sort of separates out different bits of content. It's already put a social follow in for you, as you can see down at the bottom. If you want to edit that, just click on it, and at this at the right hand side you can then put your details in. So you could put your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your website or blog if you've got one, or you could put a link to the Agapé Twitter, Facebook and website, for instance. When you put those details in, you just click close, or you could get rid of that completely if you want, just delete the block. There we go. I'm actually going to put it back in, So social follow. It's already filled in the website from before, but if you wanted to put Agapé's Twitter, let's just quickly go to that. There we go, Agapé_UK. So if I copy that, go back to my campaign builder and put it in there. There we are. So that button will now link to Agapé's Twitter page, and you can do the same with Facebook as well. Save and close. So that's how you add different bits and bobs in. It's good to create a banner for your email that will be the same on each email. So it could be a picture of yourself or a picture of something representing your ministry and the Agapé logo, for instance. So in true Blue Peter style, here's one I created earlier. So I will upload it. There we are. So this is the one that I made for my Agapé newsletter, but you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. So yeah, you just build up the newsletter by putting different elements in. Another thing that it's really good to include is a button, which is something that just stands out and enables people to respond to a particular call to action. So if I just click this and pull it over, the default is buy now. Well, you're probably not going to be selling anything, but you might want to put support me, for instance, or something like that. And you can link to your giving page on the Agapé website. So it's already saying link to a web address. So if I go over to my giving page and I copy that, and I go back and I paste that in there, and then when people click that support button, it'll take them directly to my giving page. Now, blue's not really an Agapé colour, so I'm going to change the style, and I'm going to change the colour of this button to Agapé orange, which I happen to know is ED8923. So there we go. So if I save and close that, so that's something that could appear on every email that you send out, just leave it at the bottom there. You obviously might want to include prayer requests and all this sort of thing. What I'll do in a minute is show you a template which is available for you to use, which has got various different things in that you might want. But anyway, for now, we're going to save and close that, and it's going to take us back to this overview of the email that we're creating. So let's assume you've put all your content in there and you're ready to go. It's always worthwhile sending a test email before you send out the real thing, just so that you can proofread it, you can check if you've made any silly spelling mistakes. I always check all the links as well to make sure that they all go to the right places. So if you click here, send a test email, you can then put in the email addresses to send it to. So I'm just going to send it to myself, newcastle@agape.org.uk. And I'm just going to click send test. Bon voyage, off it goes. OK that, and in a minute it should arrive in my inbox. OK, here we go. So the test, Easter News from Newcastle, has turned up. I'm going to double click on that to open it up properly, and then have a look and see if I'm pleased with it. Let's test out the video. So if I click that, it should open on that We Are Women video. Yeah, here we are. Great, so that works. Just get rid of that. Go back to the email. I'm going to test my giving link. So if I click support me, that should take me to my giving page. Yeah, there we are. Great. And I think I put in the Agapé Twitter, didn't I? So if I click that, it should take us to Agapé's Twitter. Yeah, there we are. Brilliant. So read the email, check that there's no mistakes in it, that kind of thing. And you can see the default text that we put in earlier about why people are receiving this email. That is auto-filled, and Agapé's mailing address and everything. So that's all good. When you're happy with your email, we'll go back to MailChimp, and you're then going to click send. And because my email addresses that I've put in at the moment are all fake ones, hopefully, apart from my own personal one, then there's no harm in sending one that's a bit sort of gobbledygook. So I'm going to click send, just giving you a second chance in case you hit it prematurely. Once you click send now, the email will actually go, so make sure that you're ready. And this is the best bit of the whole process. Click send now, and you get to high five the chimp, which is the highlight really of using MailChimp. So that's it, your email has gone. So the email has gone now to your list, and I can see that it's arrived in my inbox. So this is it, the real thing now. Easter news from Newcastle. Open it up, there's the lovely email that we created before. So everybody on your newsletter list has now received that email. If I go back to MailChimp, if I click on campaigns now, it will show that we've got one campaign that has been sent. So Agapé newsletter number 1 has been sent. Obviously next month, or whenever however regularly you send your email, you'll want to send another one. Rather than starting from scratch and designing everything over again, you can just replicate that one. So what I tend to do is just go here, click on replicate, and it'll create another newsletter based on the one you've just sent. So I'm going to edit the name, and I'm going to call it newsletter number 2, fairly predictably. I don't need to change all these things because I set them up last time, so I'm just going to leave them as they are. All I need to do is change the design. So I'm going to click edit design. Some things I want to stay the same, so I want the banner to stay the same because that's my kind of branding on my email. But you know, this might be course exploring Christianity or something. Help if I could spell it right. Okay, and then this is news about the course. Different picture. So you just click on that picture, click replace, click upload, and then you would search your computer for a different picture. I haven't got one ready at the moment, so I'm just going to cancel that. But that's what you would do to change that picture. Click on this text, change different text. You could put a different video in, or if you didn't want a video anymore, you could take that out, delete that, put something else in, maybe put a different picture or some more information. The support button probably won't stay the same. Your social sharing buttons, they're all going to stay the same. So when you're happy that you've your email is how you want it, you do exactly the same as last time. You just save and close. So you just need to make sure that you've changed all the details for your second newsletter, and make sure as well that you edit the subject. So you might want to call it something different. I don't know, new course running. I don't know. You know, call it something better than that. And again, you change this preview text to something updated and save that. And then you just do exactly the same things as you did last time. So you'd send yourself a test email, proofread it, check all the links, and then when you're ready, hit send. If you don't really want to design an email from scratch and add all the elements in yourself, I have actually made a template that you can use as a basis. All you do to add it into your own account is click on the link, and I can send you the link. You just click on it and it'll add it into the templates section of your account. So if I click in templates here, at the moment you can see there are no saved templates. If I go to my emails, I can click on the template that I've created from my own account, and this will add it into this new account that I've just created. Yeah, so you can see now templates has got Agapé newsletter, and if I click in there, you can see it's something that I've designed up to make it look a bit more like an Agapé thing. But this is something that you can customise yourself. So you see its template, it's got a banner image in there, lovely Nicole on it. You can put your name that you're working in Agapé. You can insert your own images and things. I'll talk you through it all in a moment, but basically that's the template. So if you want to create a new email using this template, you click on the arrow at the right hand side and you click create campaign. It will use this template as a basis for your email. So you need to go through the procedure of adding recipients, choose list, newsletter list, and save that. From me, save. Subject, I'm just running out of inspiration now, test subject. And obviously you'd fill this in with proper text as well. Save. And then you edit the design, but rather than being the default MailChimp blank thing, hopefully this will be the template that I've made, and you can then change it, make it look like yours. So yeah, I've obviously put some quite Agapé specific things in here, but you can change any of these things. So there's a banner that you could use, or you could put your own banner in here. Your name working with Agapé in location, so I could change this to Miriam working with Agapé in Newcastle. Not that she needs any help designing anything, being a graphics graduate. You can change this picture, obviously. I've put little instructions just to help you in case you forget any of this information. So you put your caption text here. Remember to link to a relevant website or Facebook event if applicable, and make sure that images are 600 pixels across. You can resize them with the free online tool here. It's called Pick Resize, so that's quite useful. Yeah, headline ministry story. So this will be your main story that you want to share with your supporters. It might be an answer to prayer, an evangelism initiative, a testimony of someone you're working with, or an event that you've hosted. Try and think about what your supporter would like to know. Perhaps include quotes from those involved if possible. Always ask for their permission. And try to collect some good photographs and use the best one to accompany the story. And don't forget again that you can embed video in your newsletter. The video below is an example of how to do that, and that's the 50 years of Agapé, what is our story video. And then a second ministry story. Think about another story that your ministry partners could be encouraged by, and then I've just put some dummy text in there to show you what it could look like. Another picture, again remembering to resize the picture to the correct size. You can have a little block for prayer points. I always have a little personal thank you at the end and put love from whoever, well, me usually. And then you could have extra content. I tend to have interesting articles and links and things. You could have all sorts of stuff: interviews, links to helpful sites, resource reviews, things God's teaching you, Bible reflections, videos, jokes, case studies, quizzes, FAQs, inspiring quotes, photos, surveys, giveaways, you name it. You can probably think of more things, but yeah, creative. And then the button at the bottom, support my ministry. This is what I showed you earlier in the video, but yeah, on the template I've basically done it all for you. So if you just click that, make sure that you link to your giving page, and I've even made a note of that at the bottom. Make sure that you edit the above support link so it goes directly to your giving page on the Agapé website, and then delete this text box afterwards. So you would make that your giving link, save and close, and then delete that reminder text box. There we are. So then when that's all done, again, you just save and close, and check your subject, check that everything's okay, send a test email, proofread it, make sure you're happy with it, and then send the email out. So that's how you use a template, and that's available for you to use if you'd like it. So once you've sent your campaign, you can then look at reports to see who's opened your campaign and who's clicked on what links and stuff. So that makes it it's quite interesting reading, and it helps you to see the things that your supporters are engaging with. So if you click on reports at the top here, we've only sent one campaign, so that should be the one that, yeah, here we are. So Agapé newsletter number 1 is the campaign that we sent out. Now obviously I sent it to lots of fake people. I sent it to 8 subscribers, and it's showing that there's 1 open and 1 click. Well, that's me, because I'm the only real person that it got sent to. So if I click on the Agapé newsletter, I can get a lot of useful information. Obviously, the information from this this test one is limited because there's only me. But in reality, if you're sending it out to 120 prayer supporters or whatever, then you'll be able to see who's opened it, who's clicked where, that kind of thing. So I can see from this that 1 person opened it, and I can actually see who that is. So if I click on that, I can see that, oh yeah, look, Newcastle at agapé.org.uk has opened it, Anne Witten, brilliant. Again, if I go back to the overview, I can see the clicks as well, so I can see that one person has clicked on stuff. That's interesting. And I can see the links that have been clicked on. So, for instance, there have been 2 clicks on the Agapé Twitter thing. And so if I click on that, I can find out who those people are. It's not going to come as any surprise that it's Anne Witten who's clicked on those. It's useful to see who's opening your emails and whether they're clicking whatever. You might want to use that information to chase up people who you can see have never opened one of your newsletters, for instance. You might want to just check that they're getting it okay and that kind of thing. So it's useful for that type of thing. The other helpful thing that report shows you is whether emails have been able to be delivered or not. So if I click on this, obviously I made up some email addresses for this newsletter. So you can see here that I've got 6 bounces. So if I click on that, I can see who those emails are. Now there's 2 different types of bounces, hard bounce and soft bounce. Hard bounce is when just the email address is wrong and the email hasn't been able to be delivered and there's no way of rectifying that. So with a hard bounce, MailChimp will take those people off the list. And a soft bounce is a temporary issue with delivering an email, but that might turn into a hard bounce. So they'll try again in future emails, but if it keeps bouncing back, then they'll turn it into a hard bounce and take that person off the list. So it means that MailChimp is automatically cleaning up your list. Now I want to show you how this information is translated back into MPDX, because campaigns are logged into MPDX when you've sent them out. So let's go over and have a look at that. So if I go over to MPDX, this is my list of people that I emailed. And if I click in, say, Martin Luther, it should show up on his task history that he's been sent an email from me. So let's have a look. So if I go down to the task tab and click that, and lo and behold, it says that today he was sent a newsletter via MailChimp and it was called Easter News from Newcastle. So that's great because it'll automatically log every time I've sent a newsletter who I've sent it to, so I can totally keep track of that. Another thing to note on Martin Luther's account is that obviously he's one of the email addresses that is completely wrong. So it turns out that dietofworms_delicious@hotmail.com is not a real email address. So you see there's a cross next to it, which means that this email failed. So if this was a real supporter, I would need to get in touch with them and say, oh, your email address hasn't worked. Have you got a different email address that I could send a newsletter to? So I'd need to do a bit of investigation on that, but it's helpful that it shows me that email address was wrong. And when I get a new email address, I can simply change the details in here. Yeah, so that's how MailChimp and MPDX work together. And once the sync is all set up and it's running, it's really easy. And a lot of it's automated, so you don't have to keep on top of things. The final thing I'm going to show you is how to make a sign-up form so that new people can sign up to your newsletter. So if you go to your lists again in MailChimp, and if you go to the right-hand side and click this drop-down, you'll see sign-up forms is one of the options. So if you click that, it will enable you to design a form, and this is useful. Maybe you've got your own website and you want to put a little form on there for people to sign up to, or you could just simply have a link in an email footer, or it could be something that you put on social media. So if you select the top one, which is Form Builder, it's really quick and easy to build your own sign-up form. So if you just scroll down, you'll see it's got a template here for you. Obviously it's not very pretty at the moment, but it's got all the right details. So if you click to add a message, you can personalise this. So sign up here for Witten's Agapé newsletter for all the latest updates and prayer points or something, I don't know. Obviously you think a bit more about what you want to say. So save and close. And it's probably a good idea as well to use the banner from your newsletter on here so that it's got a sort of consistent look. So if you click the top here, you can put change, and it will allow you to search for an image. So we've already got a banner image because we used that before, so I'm going to click that. I'll just double click it and it'll insert it. Save and insert image, and there we are. That looks much more attractive. So that's really it. You can decide which fields you want to collect information for. Obviously you need email address and their name. You could collect lots of other information. I suggest just getting those things. And then to see your form, you just copy that web address there, and I'm going to paste it into the browser, and hopefully a sign up form should appear. There we are. So it's a nice, easy way to allow people to sign up to your newsletter. I'll show you how I use it in emails. So this is my Agapé email signature, and I've got a thing saying sign up for my news and prayer letter here, and that's the link. And if I paste it in here, it's going to look very similar because it's the same banner. But there we are. So there you go. That's a whistle-stop tour of how to set up a MailChimp account, how to get all your contacts in there, send an email, analyse the results, and create a sign-up list as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you've got any questions, just ask me and I'll be more than happy to help.